In this one, I'm embracing my dark side and playing one of my most hated cards in Standard. That is, of course, Jeskai Revelation, a card that is incredibly powerful, but a card that has provided me with endless amounts of pain and suffering. And of course, we're hoping to use it to great effect in this one. Now, this deck is a hybrid deck between Lessons and also Land Destruction. We are playing the new Fang Foom, a card that I'm sure you've seen lots of other creators playing in what they're calling Ponza decks. Ponza decks is just another name for a land destruction deck. This is a 3/5 flying alien dragon villain for 4 mana that says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets an artifact or a land, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for that copy. Put 2+1/+1 counters on Fang Foom. So doubling up our spells, growing out of control, flying creature. What's not to love about Fang Foom? A couple of cards that work particularly well with Fang Foom in this deck are, of course, Jeskai Revelation. We can target any permanent with this one. So if we target a land or an artifact, we're going to be doubling up on our Jeskai Revelation. Then, of course, Avengers Disassembled, a board wipe card that also allows us to target a land. We can double up on that. Or Price of Freedom, destroying opponents' lands. Hopefully, they don't have a lot of basics to go and get from their deck, and maybe we can run them out of lands. We also get to draw a card and do it twice if we have Fang Foom on the board. The last card that I want to mention is Thor, God of Thunder, a 5/5 for 5 flying god. When it enters, we may exile a sorcery or instant from our graveyard or equipment, but we don't have any equipment, and then we may cast that until our next turn. Basically, flashback. Then, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Thor deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to any target. We have big spells. Jeskai Revelation, also Improvised Capstone. Thor is going to be bringing the thunder down on our opponent's heads. So we're going to hop into some games, see if we can figure out our way through a land destruction semi-control type deck. See you over in the games. All right, we're up in Diamond now. We're trying out land destruction, and I have my reservations about this plan, of course, but it does seem like a pretty neat plan to try out. We're against possibly life gain. You have a Tablet of Discovery sitting here. Not Tablet of Discovery. What am I saying? Avengers Disassembled. Maybe. The unfortunate thing is the opponent. Ooh, not life gain. The opponent went first, and with the opponent going first, that's crazy. That's actually really cool. With the opponent going first here, we might be in a little bit of trouble. This actually quench is huge for us. We get to quench away that Spider Ham, and then we get to wipe this board away. Oh, it's very big for us. And we also get to get rid of their Temple Garden? Well, let's get rid of their Secluded Courtyard. I feel like the Secluded Courtyard might be the card that might fix their mana just a little bit better than I would like. Maybe this is Selesnya. Peter Parker. Okay. Opponent's doing cool stuff over there, and we're doing kind of lame stuff with what we got going on. Finding this. Let's blast. Am I afraid of Peter Parker flipping? Maybe not. Oh, I don't really need to fire off this combustion technique too hastily. Let's chill for a second here. See what they follow up with. The opponent, unfortunate situation. We didn't really get to see our deck do anything either. But, all right, that's a start. Let's keep going, Thor. Have any of you been running into Fang Foom? I'm kind of curious if you've seen it on the ladder and whether or not this cute little alien dragon villain. What a name. What a creature type. I wonder if this thing has caused you any kind of woe. Opponent over there. Mulligan into. They're not having any of it. All right. How often does that happen to you? Where you get your hand, you're like, no, unplayable, throw it away. You get a new hand, unplayable, throw away, and you're just like, oh, I'm not playing this game anymore. Alt F4, concede Alt F4, move on with your day. I feel like many of us have been in that position. I'm not gonna put out the Steam Vents untapped because we have our Avengers Disassembled that we're kind of gearing up towards. If we really need to, we can fire off the Earthbending or Firebending lesson on something, but I have a feeling that we are... sorry. But my opponent, definitely not a fan of Jeskai Control. And That's 2 wins without playing a single card. This is starting a whole lot like the is it video, right? Starting off the same way, where opponents just those first 2 opponents just threw in the towel. This one, same thing. Opponents see this is it mana base, and they're just ah, no, we're not playing this game. Speaking of removing things, let's see what else the opponent has for us. We don't need to be too hasty and murder this burnout Bastronaut. We have a Quicksilver. That's fine, right? Probably I'm gonna hit Bastronaut though. Why not? Wonder if the opponent has some kind of like pump. That'd be crazy, right? Do you have pump for it? +3/+3? Oh, or not +3/+3. Wow, that's kind of a blowout. Okay, okay. Opponent came prepared, and we are now desperately digging with this Tablet of Discovery, which is bad because it's whatever this. I needed you. I needed you. All right, let's hit at least their land with Price of Freedom. I actually saw somebody playing a Price of Freedom type deck like this, but they were using Devious Cover Up then to go and exile all the mountains or whatever land. It was a pretty cool little strategy by the opponent. Okay, we need to find some of our remaining Avengers disassembled, and I don't know if that's going to be something we're going to be able to pull off here. Thankfully, the Price of Freedom can actually kill this Super Adaptoid to stem the damage that's coming in on us a little bit. We also do need to find... Okay, Thor. We need to find one more land. If we find one more land, we can do improvisation capstone. From here, I think probably just exile the Avengers disassembled. So if they deal with the Thor, the backup is that we wipe the board. We should be in okay shape here. Like, basically, no matter what I do here, we're going to be fine. Assuming I draw another land, the 5th land. We definitely need that. Opponent finding their lands. They are pumping up their Bastronaut. They're using their mana to attack in for a little bit extra with the Bastronaut. That's okay. Do I care if I lose? So they might... Can't actually block that because it has menace. They might pump. Yeah, this is fine, right? There's no way they're going to pump enough to kill my Thor. We are down to 7, though. And 7 is not the healthiest feeling place. Now, the next question is going to be, do I want to... I think if I draw land, it's actually going to be Jeskai Revelation, not Avengers Disassemble, because I need to gain a little bit of life. Wild. Wild. And we miss on the land. Oh, it's bad. It's bad. Okay. Well, let's do this. Nuke the board. At the very least, 3 damage up top. And we need some help here. We do get to draw one more time with this. And we also get to do 2 more damage to the opponent's face. This is kind of cool. I like Thor. I picked up a copy of Thor. I think I'm going to put him into my Kratos deck because it's a god-themed deck. Miss on the lands one more time. And I'm not attacking in because they definitely have hasty creatures. Yeah, I don't like where we're... Okay. Okay, game. Game. If you could help me out ever so slightly, I would really appreciate this. Super Adaptoid from the opponent. Fine. It's flying. And we continue to not draw anything. No, this kills Thor if I do it that way. So we're just going to do it this way. 3 damage up top. This also kills the opponent, I believe. Looks like 8 damage on board. Unless they have... it's not good enough, opponent. GG. Wow, what a close one, actually. This one ended up being way tighter than it needed to be. GG, opponent. What a cool... where's my 7th mana? That's all I need. This deck makes mana. It should have had a problem with that. All right, well, we kind of got ourselves a real game under our belt. That last one, the opponent definitely had a lot of aggression coming at us. And yeah, this one looks fine. You always prefer to go first. It's a little bit silly to say, but Tablet of Discovery, the quench, maybe we can make something happen with that. No duress, please. Been seeing more turn 1 duresses than I care to see, I guess is the way to say it. For Jeskai Revelation, a little bit useless. We'll preserve our life total ever so slightly and just put out the steam vents. And I guess the plan is pretty simple. It's going to be straightforward. 2, 3, 4. Arresting the opponent, shocking in this watery grave, and then not do it. Is there a flash creature that I don't know about? Bitter Bloom Bear. I think that's probably fine to quench. It ends up generating enough annoyance for us that I think I don't want to deal with it. From here, it's got to be the Tablet of Discovery because we need to ramp into this Jeskai Revelation, right? So we do lose. No, we don't. Blast them. They do, of course, now get the solved part of Case of the Stash Skeleton. But if they're using their mana to do that, I'm super fine with that. We're kind of getting far enough ahead. Next turn, we get to put down Fang Foom and also hold up Combustion Technique or Firebending Lesson. And then it's going to be Jeskai Revelation doubled up, possibly. I don't think there's any way we're losing that case, right? Especially with an opponent that seems to be struggling with their mana sources. And we get a backup Fang Foom. So that's out. There's no reason to fire off either of these. We do need one more land. Again, feeling a little bit similar to last game. Oh, the opponent with the turn 4 starting town. You love to see it. You hate to see it. I don't know. It's brutal. They go and get a mystery card. So from here, I think definitely we're going to be firing off one card, but opponents, they just don't want to stick around. And I understand it. I feel like often I don't want to stick around, deal with this stuff. I guess the real question is the Fang Foom land destruction angle of this deck just a little bit too cute? Or is it actually worth using over just a normal Jeskai Control, right? Jeskai Control probably is just better to just go straight Jeskai Control. I think I'm going to fire off this Firebending Lesson because I want to try to build up the graveyard for the Accumulate Wisdom. I don't know if that's going to be a thing, but getting a little bit closer with this Price of Freedom. Do need to take a little bit of damage to do it, but well worth it if we can then eventually draw 3 cards. It'll quench you pretty good. And Tablet of Discovery on turn 3 seems to be like basically always the play. It's just kind of crazy, right? Unstoppable Slasher, also a little bit crazy. So if that's the case, do I need to then blast away Unstoppable Slasher? And I think probably. This also allows us to hold up the It'll Quench Ya, so that we will then have... Fuck that in. I'm done. Just taking damage for no reason. I could have just taken 1 damage instead of 2 extra damage. We'll do this. Boom, boom. And now our Accumulate Wisdom needs to find something good. Nothing good. Okay. Little bit brutal on these draws game. If could help me out a little bit, I would very much appreciate. You know, if you could help me out just a little bit, please. How many lands are they? We ran them out of lands. We actually ran them out of lands. They have 5 basics in their deck. 5 basics in their deck. Problem is, we desperately need this Price of Freedom to draw something proper, because this Unstoppable Slasher could just kill us next turn. Deck. Okay, we're not dead because we do technically have a 2/4 creature that we can animate. I'm gonna take this. It's fine. Let's turn on the wizard. That's a lot of lands, right? Off the top of the library. Holy cow. Okay, they have Bitter Triumph. So now we are literally chump blocking with our ball. If they have another removal spell, well, it's fine. They can hit me. They can hit me. Not dead. Bad. On Jeskai Revelation off the top. One time, please. Do I need this in untapped? No. I shouldn't have put out that land. It's fine. It's crazy, right? I'm just chump blocking. I don't want to throw away both of my hulls of the Biblioplex. Oh no, this has turned into the goofiest game. Okay. 3 lands? Jeskai Revelation. Do I have the mana for it? 2, 4, 6. I don't have the mana for it, but what I do have the mana for is this. And I'm just gonna fire it off right now. Okay, let's get in. They're not gonna have. They could have haste, right? They could have the warp creature to come in on me for 2. Serpent Society. Serpent Society. Interesting. So I need to take poison damage, which is fine. Okay, so let's send this back to their hand. Let's send this onto the Serpent Society. We get 5 poison counters, so we can no longer interact with future Serpent Societies. We drew the It'll Quench You, which is very big. Are we actually going to stabilize here? I'm going to fire it off anyways, just to make them use all of their mana. Okay. It's fine. So then we need to Jeskai Revelation. How much damage is it? It's enough, right? It's just enough damage. I hope I didn't miscount something. Oh, wow. I'm surprised they just let it through. Now I don't even need to do a cheeky thing. What I was waiting to do was shoot something with Firebending Lesson. Sometimes you draw an insane amount of lands, but eventually those lands have to give way to real cards, and that's what we did. Oh, what a nail biter. I like what the opponent's doing. This is very similar to what some of the people were recommending on my poison video, playing cards that were a little bit beefier with Death Touch. Unstoppable Slasher, and then you have your Revenant, or whatever it's called, the Revenant. There are definitely cards that you can play in the 3 slot that have Death Touch. These have been some scuffed games. I guess Thor and Jeskai Revelation brings out the absolute best in people. This time around, we have our removal package, so if we end up running into an opponent that is on a creature-based strategy, we are going to be laughing, but if we end up seeing Jeskai mana base, yikes. If we end up seeing that, we could be in trouble. This might mean mill, and that means that these cards are all basically useless against a mill opponent. Oh no, really? That really what we're doing here? Yep, that's what we're doing. So I'm gonna fire off the Accumulate Wisdom now, just to get it in the graveyard. I think just start building up the lessons. Tablet Discovery is really important for the future. Not right now though. Let's see. if the opponent disagrees with me blowing up their white source. I hit stop some. Oops. Okay. Oh no! I guess there was no reason not to choose both modes. That's just... Alright, lesson learned. There's no reason not to choose both modes on your Avengers Disassembled if you're just throwing it out for no reason, willy-nilly. But at least we get a Kutzel Flanker, which means we have a target for our Firebending lesson. I don't like throwing this into the opponent's, what I'm assuming is removal or counter magic, but we're going to try. Really need it to resolve, but wasn't going to happen. The good news is we do get to stop this Kutzel Flanker from hitting me anymore. We are up to 6. We could draw enough mana just to cast the Jeskai Revelation all on its own. Plenty of mana. 3 halls of the Biblioplex. Crazy. They're making treasure tokens. So you have to imagine that the opponent is also gearing up towards their own Jeskai Revelation. Basically 100%, right? Which is bad news because Fang Foom just gets bounced back to hand, but let's try it anyway. So, maybe they don't have Jeskai Revolution, I guess. They could have... I was sitting here thinking they are playing that, but maybe they're not playing red mana. The treasure, of course, could be red mana, and it's possible that they just didn't draw their red sources. Very unlikely, but anything's possible, right? Or Fang Foom. It would have been nice to have that one on the field with this Jeskai Revelation in hand if I could resolve it. Going after my halls. Yep. Fine. We do play basics. Play enough of those cool basics. The opponent's stock ups. So this is the window for my Jeskai Revelation. And I think I probably do it. 2 islands. What does 2 islands mean? Means go for it. Doesn't matter what I bounce. Nice. Long Rivers pull again. Okie dokie. So they had 2 counter spells ready. Counter target creature spell if the gift was promised, counter target spell. Well, there's no reason to not just put this out untapped. And I'm going to go after their Fountain Port. I have a feeling that that's going to be pretty important for them keeping up game. Get a treasure token. Let's see, how many more bases could a 2-color deck like this possibly have? Like, they have 5 on the field. Do they have more? Did we finally run them out? Well, no, we didn't. Why would we? We need to find our other lessons card. We desperately need to find or accumulate knowledge. Wait, wisdom? Right? Passing it back. This one's going to grind to a brutal hull. I'm not really willing to load up the Biblioplexes yet. But, oh, Sebastian, I think we got ourselves into a real dirty one here. Oh, man. I'm not going to be able to keep up with them either because they're going to draw much better than I'm going to be able to draw. And I have to imagine that they have... Didn't realize that they were playing the best looking 3 steps ahead possible. They're going to have 3 more 3 steps ahead in their hand. They're also probably going to have probably at least 1 more Long Rivers pull, I would say. Season of Burrow. Okay. So they bring back their Fountain Port with an indestructible counter on it and a singular rabbit. We'll see what we draw. You know what? For the sake of not having the worst game to put in the middle of a video, I'm going to call it on that one. That's not going to be a good game. Okay. So that last game, obviously, For me, I didn't want to sit through it, and it kind of got me thinking, what are the decks that make you, or what are the cards these days? And I'm pretty sure I've asked this question before now that I'm saying it, but it's always fun to ask it again. What's your instant concede matchup? What do you see and you're like, not doing it, up here, boop boop, concede, and then move on with your life? This might be pretty close to being one of those situations myself. We have the quench, but unfortunately, the opponent is reaching into our hand to take the quench. So I suppose what we need to do is probably just can't counter it, right? Oi. Well, this is happening. Yeah. There are definitely some decks. I think that this deck is probably one of those decks that makes people be like, I'm not playing against this garbage. Jeskai Control. Of course, this. Varo. All these things are going to tilt people into certain situations. The opponent did miss their land, third land, interestingly, and we found another accumulate wisdom. They're digging desperately with their wistfulness. They get to look at 2 cards and draw. Maybe I should counter that one. I can't counter it because of elemental. Goodness gracious. They find it? Found it. Fire off this and find the Tablet of Discovery. Exactly what we need. The I shouldn't have put out the Biblioplex. My bad. If I get punished here with a land, yeah, my bad. That's on me. What was that land? No, I guess technically I didn't really get deceit again. I didn't get punished because I needed blue mana up to fire off this quench if something bad came down, like a Superior Spider-Man. We're up into so they're gonna have a big decision to make. Do they leave us with the Jeskai Revelations that we can very clearly cast off now, or do they hit the draw spells? It's a pretty tough situation. So now what do you do if you're the opponent in this case? You missed a bunch of lands. Whatever they do, we're just going to send back to their hand. This thing is really good for countering Varo, even if he is uncounterable, because it just returns it back to their hand. Return target spell back to their hand. But the bad news is they do have now Cavern of Souls, so this quench is basically useless. If I does this work? If I try to counter my own accumulate wisdom, find out. So let's do this full control and then counter the accumulate wisdom. Yes. Submit. Autopay. But we autopay. That goes into the graveyard. We draw 3 cards. Hey, that's some pretty cool usage of that. I think that was pretty cool. So now, Steam Vents, we just hold up the Jeskai Revelation. We go from there. We do have the Avengers disassembled to blow up their Cavern of Souls. I really want to. Okay. Fine. I think what we're going to end up doing is bouncing some of their lands and keeping them a little bit low on mana. I am going to fire off one of these spells this turn. Up land from the opponent. Sure. This doesn't really remove a lot of mana from them, but it's something. And if we're doing 4 damage to the opponent now, boom. Not great draws though from us. This Hall of the Biblioplex might end up being turned on at some point. Bitter Triumph. Sure. That works for me. So this Tablet of Discovery is kind of free, right? This is still 7 mana on board. We find another land. So we just attack in for 2. Do I attack in for 2, 4, 6, 8 mana? Do I attack in for a little bit more damage here? I'm using my spells in very unconventional ways this game, but I think it's actually going to be okay. I want to make sure that the opponent dies on the following turn. We do need a little bit of help, but we are going to be drawing cards with this. There's the Superior Spider-Man. So we bounce this back to their hand. We deal 4 damage up top. Yes, it is uncounterable, but we don't care. And that's how you beat a Kavaro. Man, that was actually a cool game. That one, using spells in unconventional ways. Yeah, I'm sure there are some people that do this kind of stuff a lot, and that's just how that's the rodeo that they're on. But how often do you see somebody try to counter their own accumulate wisdom just to get the 3rd lesson in the graveyard? That's gotta be worth a like, right? Come on, right? Come on. Help me out. Games deep are we? I think number 8. I actually took a little bit of a break. My camera was heating up a little bit too much during some of the previous matches there, and I decided to go get a little bit of bread and make myself some eggs and bread for a late morning snack. Recording videos all morning. I thought I deserved a little bit of food. Hope I don't have anything. Okay, the opponent on black. Hopefully they have some creatures for us to hit with these firebending lessons. Then we get accumulate wisdom up to its 3. This is the card that just sets everything apart. It appears that they might be on the skeleton list. I'm gonna wait a little bit longer here. Throw out the mountain, keep making our land drops. See what the opponent is doing. That's a cool sleeve. I don't think that's the first time I've seen that one. Nothing from the opponent. Man, I really feel like they're gonna have something at some point. Avengers Disassembled. The cool card to fire off here, but they must have a board. They must be on skeletons. I don't see anybody else doing Conduit Pylon. Oh no. Oh no. I misread the opponent's. Uh-oh. You're right. Conduit Pylon actually means Reanimator, which means we are in trouble, which means we desperately need this Eloquentia, but we also kind of need the Fang Foom. I don't think we're going to be able to effectively use the Avengers Disassembled. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm in panic mode now. What do I do here? I guess it's just hold up the Eloquentia and pray that we can get a Zombify before they bring back Gishath. There's another Lattice. So they might have a Foggy Swamp Pits. Oh, Foggy Swamp Visions. That's what it is. They have 2 Galtas in the graveyard now. We don't have any graveyard hate, but if we get up to Jeskai Revelation, though, which not happening. Avengers Disassembled. Are we just going to fire off 2 of those at some point? Oh, green or red mana. Of course they have red mana. Yeah. Okay, land drop's good. We need to survive 1 more turn and draw 1 more land. And if we can start bouncing whatever they're reanimating, or they made their land drop, though, this quench is not going to get it done anymore because they now have exactly the amount of mana that they need for stuff. Foggy Swamp Visions too, so we were definitely not paying or stopping this thing. But we can do 5 points of damage to it, but it has 6. Oh, I needed to put... I'm dumb. So had I put this thing in untapped, I could have prevented this nightmare from happening. What did they hit? How bad? How bad is it? Accompanying Carnosaur. You know what? We can just fire off double Avengers Assembled this time. Disassembled. And I think that probably kills everything that they put onto the field. Did they not put the Palani Hutcher? I thought they also hit a Palani Hutcher. Weird. So Gishath is disappearing. Something funky happened there. Exile that boy. Okay, my turn. Land? It is a land. So now we actually have the Jeskai Revelation mana available to us as well. I think I'm going to try to maybe take some damage from the Trumpeting Carnosaur. Stop whatever nonsense they're trying to do, maybe? I do still have the option of doing double Firebending Lesson, one kicked, one not kicked, to kill this thing if I really wanted to. Just passing, coming in for 7. You let them hit you for 7. It sucks, but that's what's happening. What is their follow-up? They do have 6 mana. Would just start using these things, especially with us at 6. It's probably not the worst idea for them to start considering the Lattice and the Moxite. They can do it at, I think they can do this one at instant speed, but this thing is sorcery speed. Yes. So there's the Plani Hatcher, which means, yeah, sure, fine. Post combat. So here's what we do. We return this one. We deal 4 damage to this one. Make some babies. And we have our improvisation capstone now. And we have enough mana to do a lot of stuff. Oh boy. So Firebending Lesson, just to cast, maybe just cast one of them. Just to get it out of my hand. And then save the Jeskai Revelation for, yeah, let's do that. Save the Jeskai Revelation to stop whatever they're doing on this next turn. Then we'll have 4 babies on the field that we should be able to probably close the game out with. We'll see. This one's interesting. I didn't expect it to kind of go this way. Maybe I would have played the game a little bit differently had I expected them to be doing something a little bit different. I didn't expect it to be a reanimation, but maybe when I saw the conduit pylon, I should have thought also that was a possibility. My mind went right to yeah, have to skeletons. 4 more damage up top. We might be putting damage on our creatures here, so I think we're doing more we were about to do more shenanigans. So I think what I was about to do is start firing off my Firebending Lessons on my own creatures. So Firebending Lesson on this guy, holding priority Firebending Lesson on this guy, so that they would both grow big enough, I think. I don't think they would die, and then I could accumulate wisdom and hopefully figure out a way to end the game here. Woo! Okay, we're going to squeeze 2 more games into this video. I don't know how long things are because I did stop in the middle and kind of lost track of everything. But we're going to keep going. I got to remember now that it's getting to summertime, my poor camera cannot handle the extreme heat that I'm pushing it through at times. Hush would verge from the opponent. So we can smoke the recruit with the combustion technique, and that's probably the better way to go. We'll see what they put out, because we might just Avengers disassemble them. They end up going a little bit wide. Oh boy. That seems fine to hit, right? Sure. Now, do I want to accumulate wisdom? Yeah, let's just accumulate wisdom for 1. I don't think I'm going to get it up to the 3. Firebending Lesson could be good for the future. So is Fang Foom. We haven't seen enough Foom. I'm going to take Foom. I think maybe the Firebending Lessons were actually the better takes there. But we haven't seen enough of the Foom. And I want to see more of this big old scary alien dragon villain. By the way, if you play Marvel Snap, you are probably very familiar with Fang Foom these days, although it's not as prominent now. About 2 months ago, oh my goodness, was it ever a menace in the game. It was ruining people's lives. Oh, and we get the opening to throw down the Tablet of Discovery. The opponent doesn't have anything. We hit the Biblioplex. We played it properly. I'm not going to fire off the Price of Freedom because I want to get the benefit from Fang Foom. Uh-oh. Is this an Ouroboros? Ouroborite is actually kind of annoying. Okay, it's not as bad as it could have been. You know what would be really cool is another Avengers disassembled off the top would be real rad because we could put down the Fang Foom and fire off the Avengers. Sure. I wonder if I should have. Stopped that. I think it's fine. I got a 3/5 dragon. We have the quench, so if they try to put out an Ouroboride this time around, we can do that. Although quench is losing value very quickly. Just offense. Pretty good here. So let's smoke this rabbit. It's going to grow the other rabbit, but just by 1, and it should be okay. I don't imagine that they're going to have a way of protecting. Man, they might have a way of protecting the pop hatch. Oh boy. Tapped out. Okay. Oh, okay. What was that about? What was that about, opponent? Fleeting flight? Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt. Oh, I bet that word threw off the poor opponent. Combat damage. Brutal. And now they can't attack in with this 4/4. They can't. They could attack in with the 4/4. They could bluff another pump spell. I don't think I'm brave enough to block here. Only 4 damage, right? It's not a big deal. Dang, we didn't get the Jeskai Revelation. Okay, still, we are hitting the price of freedom. This is going to draw us into hopefully some good stuff. We get double trigger on this. This is what we want. This is what we came here to see. Fang Foom doing the fun stuff, doubling up our spells, growing into a giant monster. We hit Jeskai Revelation, so on the following turn, it's going to be absolutely miserable for the opponent. Although Fountain is fine, let's just put this one out untapped. Can't do anything else, and we're staying back on defense. We'll fire off the quench if we get some good target for it. Even if they practice offense onto this rabbit, it's not such a big deal. We're going to eventually be bouncing this thing with the Jeskai Revelation, copy Jeskai Revelation. And practice offense. That's okay. So I think we quench this one. Forces them into paying the 2 mana. Probably they pay them 2 mana for it. Anyways, either way, they're only going to be doing 1 practiced offense this time around. And they're not going to be able to kill me with a 5/5 rabbit with double strike. It'll hurt, but it won't kill me. Ellie Jean thinking long and hard about what they wanted to do there. But they end up paying for it, which is the correct move. You pay for that one, so this goes into exile. So they have 2 exile practiced offenses. They're going to attack in for 10. Like I said, but I don't think they have a land drop, and that means that next turn, everything absolutely crumbles for them. We do this. Target here. Target 4 damage up top. Doubles, does it again. 4 damage up top, bouncing this rabbit. It's devastating. How do you come back in this position? I think you don't. Whoa, Jeskai Revelation. What a card. What a card. It admittedly, it's too much, right? It's an insane card. Once you can get to 7 mana, thank you, Tablet of Discovery. Just get out of control way too fast. All right, so this is going to be the 10th and final game of Fang Foom land destruction. We haven't really been doing too much of the land destruction, admittedly, but it's working out. We're seeing it a little bit. Mostly what we're seeing is how awesome Tablet of Discovery along with Jeskai Revelation is. Just incredible. We are possibly against a Jeskai opponent, and we have removed their first dual land. So hopefully this means that they might have a harder time countering things. I'm going to attack their mana one more time here. I don't want to run out the Tablet of Discovery too quickly because I feel like it's a little bit too important. What? I did not expect that. So now they don't have white mana. No white mana. They could still counter this. I'm going to try it. Please resolve. Oh, it's not resolving. 3 steps ahead. Oh. Unbelievable. What are you? Oh, that sucks. But we do have Thor. And we do have 1 copy of Flashback, so we have 2 ways of getting access to this one more time. I should have counted that. I snap clicked. I don't think hitting the stock up with the quench was probably going to be the right thing to do. Not bad. Okay. Hopefully they're sitting there with a whole bunch of white cards and not being able to do anything. Although, ooh, like I said. So we got the Fang Foom. Let's get Foomers out onto the field. We're going to... Doesn't matter. Okay. We're going to hold up the It'll Quench Ya. You can't counter. There's no 1 mana counter target creature spell, right? Like, that doesn't exist. They could bounce Fang Foom, but I don't think they're going to be doing anything to counter it. Yeah. So, you know what? It ended up working out just fine. It'll Quench Ya comes in when it was maybe going to go after an early stock up, but I guess it worked out there. And we just tore through a whole bunch of opponents with this deck. All right, so this one ended up working out a whole lot better than I had initially anticipated it going. But I think this deck is solid, but it also has a special passive ability that has to be addressed and has to be mentioned. It's not shown on screen, but this deck does have the secret ability of annoying your opponents into conceding. Because nobody, when they see Hollowed Fountain, Hollow the Biblioplex, and River Pirate Verge hit the field, they're like, ugh. How many times in my videos do I go, oh, Jeskai? It's the same situation. And then once you land a Tablet of Discovery, your opponents know that a Jeskai Revelation's coming. And once you start firing off a Jeskai Revelation, like, the win rate on this card must be insane. When it is played, it must win like 70 to 80% of the time. I feel like it's just, it does so much. 7 mana, of course, but it does so much to stabilize you. And then you just do the rest of your game plan and things work out. A little unfortunate, we didn't get to see the improvisation capstone going off. It would have been a little bit fun to see that, but we did get to see God of Thunder doing some cool stuff in that one game. We did see lots of Fang Foom, which is what I set out to do, and that was a whole lot of goodness. But in the end, I think probably the reason that this does so well is just because of Tablet of Discovery and Jeskai Revelation, and therefore probably building a regular Jeskai control deck is going to end up being better overall. But if you don't want to just play that kind of thing, you want to do something a little bit more interesting, this is not a bad way to go. Also, it's not, well, it's expensive, unfortunately. When you're playing 3 mana or 3-color mana base, you're going to have a hard time. But let's say, aside from the mana, you are playing Lessons, and Lessons are a budget-friendly way of playing the game because everything is common or uncommon. Also, Tablet of Discovery is uncommon. So you could cut the flashback. You definitely don't need that. You probably don't really need the Thor, but it's just one of a Thor. It's not such a big deal. And then you kind of like, this is what you're mostly crafting outside of the lands. Yes, expensive. It's tough. It's tough out there being a Magic the Gathering player in 2026 where everything is rares and mythics and you really need those to be competitive. Anyways, this one worked out. I do think that this deck, though, is still a bit of a hopes and dreams meme kind of deck. And I wouldn't put a lot of value on what you saw in the games that I played. I suspect if you played a lot of games, you would be right around that 50-51% win rate with something like this, even though Jeskai Revelation does carry so hard. Anyways, let me know what you think. Have you been hit by Fang Foom? Do you think land destruction deserves a place in the format? Should we have more land destruction cards? All those good thoughts would be really neat to discuss with all of you wonderful people down in the comments. So leave that down there. Like the video as well while you're down there. It helps out tremendously. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Sanagi Puna. Bye-bye.